Hey, what's up guys, welcome back, and today I have a very exciting video for you. So I've been using iOS since 2009 with iOS 2, and one thing I've always loved about it is how stable and reliable it's been. I mentioned back in January that I really wanted iOS 12 to be as much about getting back to those roots as possible, and it seems like they've delivered. iOS 12 isn't flashy and isn't groundbreaking, but it takes everything that's great about iOS and makes it that much better. So come with me as I show you everything I love about iOS 12 and a few things that need some work. The first and most important thing you need to know about iOS 12 is it's fast. Really fast. Gone are the days of previous generation device owners shying away from the update because it could cause their device to slow down or become unusable. iOS 12 is noticeably faster than iOS 11, particularly on older devices. My iPhone 10 never really felt slow, so the change isn't very noticeable, but on my 5S it feels a substantial amount faster. It honestly feels quicker than it has in the last couple of years, which is not something you can say about a lot of updates. Next, let's talk about stability and bugs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you iOS 12 is completely free of bugs and completely stable, because it's just not. That being said, I hope this release marks a shift towards continuous improvements to stability and bug fixes. If you look at the release notes for the majority of the iOS 12 betas, it seems like they're working really hard to tie up some of the loose ends left from some of the previous updates. Unfortunately, I can't really tell you if those efforts have paid off this early into the release, but so far it seems like it's a lot better. There are definitely still some bugs I'd like to see sorted out, like the music app freezing, the shortcuts app crashing, or even the phone not quite knowing which side to put the bar to swipe up on to go home. But I wouldn't worry too much about updating your phone because it doesn't seem to have any major flaws that would just destroy your device like some previous versions have had. But of course, what good are all of these improvements if your device isn't supported, and luckily all of the devices supported by iOS 11 will now support iOS 12. I think Apple users tend to forget how special it is that we get yearly updates to all of our OSs, whether that be iOS, macOS, tvOS, or even watchOS. If you buy an Android phone, you'll be lucky to get one major release after you purchase your device, whereas iOS still supports the iPhone 5S from 2013. To be honest, after 5 years, you're probably either due for an update or don't really care that much if your phone is up to date. Thus far, I've talked a lot about under-the-hood changes, but iOS 12 does have some really cool new features worth mentioning. For years now, iOS has had password autofill, so it'll store all of your passwords in iCloud Keychain and then let you fill them in within Safari. This year, they've dramatically improved upon that in two ways. First, it now works in apps, so since it's built right into the keyboard, you no longer have to wait around for developers to update it with password manager support. And second, it now supports third-party password managers. As you may know, I've been using 1Password for years now, and this makes using 1Password just that much easier. It essentially just changes where it pulls the data from iCloud Keychain to 1Password or your password manager of choice. Now, it's not perfect. It doesn't seem to show up on some websites or in certain apps, but for the most part, it seems to work the majority of the time. Hopefully this means even more people will switch to password managers instead of keeping all of their passwords in the notepad of their phone. Something that might seem really minor if you haven't used an iPhone 10, 10s, or 10R is how Apple makes you retry Face ID. With iOS 11, you'd have to hit cancel and then swipe up again if you didn't want to have to enter your password. Now with iOS 12, all you have to do is swipe up again just as you did the first time. It's a small detail, but it's one of those things that makes using your phone just that much easier. Another thing I'm super excited about is stacked notifications. Notification Center has been a mess for years now, and now it finally seems like it's built for users instead of app developers. Basically, all it does is organize all of your notifications into stacks by app instead of putting them all in chronological order. It's, again, a small detail, but it makes a big difference. For those of you holding onto older devices, you'll be pleased to know that they have brought the 3D Touch trackpad to non-3D Touch devices. I use this feature basically every time I pick up my phone, so I'm really glad to see it come to my 5S. Hopefully this isn't a sign of Apple killing off 3D Touch, because I really do like 3D Touch. New apps, new apps. The Measure app is an incredible use for all of Apple's augmented reality technology. Apple has been really excited about augmented reality for the last couple of years, and now we finally have a practical application for it other than playing oversized table tennis, because, you know, people do that. All you need to do is point your phone at a flat surface or an object and you can tell exactly how big it is. It's just that simple. It seems like it takes a little too long to calibrate, and it's of course not 100% accurate, but as a version 1 product, it seems like a pretty good start. Oh, and they finally have a good place to put the level instead of, with the compass. They could probably just put the compass in the Measure app, to be honest. I don't think it really needs its own app. Possibly the biggest addition to iOS 12 has been shortcuts. We've seen other apps like this before, but the difference is now it's built right into the OS. Basically, you can automate tasks or set up quick links to do different things. I'll have a separate video up shortly talking all about shortcuts and some of the practical real-life uses for it, but just let me say it's really useful if you put in the time to set it up properly. Photos, news, stocks, and voice memos have all seen redesigns to their apps, some more minor than others, but my favorite feature so far has been the new Morning Digest feature in the News app. It's just sort of a nice all-in-one section to see some of the top stories of the day. Group FaceTime is something people have been asking for years, and they really do seem to have gone above and beyond here. It's not just 2 people, 3 people, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's like 32 people, I think, which it should cover it. Screen time is something else Apple has lifted directly from one of their competitors, and in this case they've done a really good job. You can see detailed information about your phone usage, and I think the weekly summary is a really nice touch. I don't know if knowing you overuse your phone will actually help you use it less, but it's nice to have it there. Some other minor improvements in iOS 12, there's security improvements in Safari. You can now have third-party Maps apps in Apple CarPlay, for instance Google Maps or Waze. Student ID cards are coming to the Wallet app for selected colleges, and you can even make a memoji if you, want to annoy your friends with one of those. By the way, let me know if you can make yours look anything more like you than mine looks like me, because I was having I tried for a long time, and I couldn't make it look anything like me. On the other hand, there are some things that I still don't like about iOS, so let's run through some of those real quick. First, like I mentioned earlier, there are still bugs. They're not huge device-destroying issues, but they're worth keeping in mind that it's still not perfect, and we still have room to improve. Second, you still have to go through Notes to use the document scanner. Why can't you just scan documents? The built-in document scanner is surprisingly good. I wish you could just use it, send them directly to the Files app. It would be really nice so you didn't have to either use Notes or get a third-party app. Third, Siri still sucks. Shortcuts go a long way towards improving the functionality of Siri, but that doesn't change the fact that she's still significantly less intelligent than other assistants. Fourth, stop removing wallpapers. Every year Apple removes old wallpapers from the Settings app, and I really don't understand why. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a wallpaper from each version of iOS all the way back to iOS 1? Maybe if enough people complain, Apple will just add them all back at once. Fifth, the TV app still doesn't fully support Netflix, or for that matter, any live TV streaming service like YouTube TV, Sling TV, anything like that. I still really like the TV app, and I feel like that'd make it a lot more useful. And please, Apple, bring it to macOS, because I like to watch video on my computer, and I've seen people say it's because they don't have Netflix apps, but you could just link people directly to the website for it, and it would still be really useful. Sixth, there are still no swipe gestures in the Music app, and actually, on that topic. 7, there's still no recently played section in the Music app, although I do have a shortcut to kind of fix that, which you'll see in the next video. 8, bring back Game Center. I really liked it. Maybe I'm the only one, but I thought it was really cool to be able to friend request people and easily play against them. There's all sorts of cool leaderboards and challenges, and now it sort of kind of exists, but not really. It's weird. Just bring it back. Alright, I'm done complaining. Overall, iOS 12 has been the update I've been hoping for years. It makes incremental changes to improve everyday usability while also adding enough new features to keep people entertained. I don't want to see a complete redesign of iOS like many people are hoping for, because that would mean years more of refining it to get it back to where it is right now. Right now, iOS is an incredible operating system, and I hope this marks a renewed focus towards refining what they built over the last 11 years instead of completely starting from scratch. Anyway, today's question of the day is, how do you feel about Apple completely rethinking iOS? Do you think it's due for a change, or are you excited for the near iOS 6-like trajectory we're heading towards right now? Let me know by tapping the I or leaving a comment down below. Don't forget I post new videos every single week, so I'd definitely like to see you back next week. But until then,